Ognjen Topic joins the show today, one of the best Nakamura in the world. Um, he's kind enough to join us and speak about his Muay Thai career. Ognjen, thank you for joining me, man. How are you?
You got it, man. Thank you for having me on. I'm doing good.
So, a Serb training in Phuket, Thailand. It's got to be the life, right?
Yeah, I'm actually in Bangkok.
Oh, you're in Bangkok? I thought you were in Phuket. Well,
Yeah.
Either or.
No,
You're
Bangkok. That's pretty.
You're in the heart of the world of the sport you reside in. So.
Yeah, this is where the action's at.
So for those who don't know you, man, how did you first get involved into Muay Thai?
I started just when I was like in 6th or 7th grade. I started watching a lot of boxing, the ESPN Friday Night Fights, and I started liking the boxing a lot, and I wanted to be a boxer. So I asked my parents if I can box, and they said absolutely not, because we came from a war-torn country, and they brought me to America to make something of myself, to go to school and do something better than just be a fighter. And so they said, no, you can't be a fighter. So I said, okay, if I can't do boxing, let me do like karate or something. But I knew that I wasn't gonna like karate because it wasn't realistic. I already knew that. I know boxing it's a real fight. So I did taekwondo, and I did that for 4 years, and I got my black belt. But throughout that whole time, I wasn't happy with it. It was the best thing that I could have at the time, but I knew it wasn't realistic, and I knew it wasn't the real thing. And then one day I'm watching again ESPN, and now this is 4 years later after I started. So now I'm 18 years old. I started at 14 with taekwondo, and I see Muay Thai on ESPN for the first time. And before then, I've watched kickboxing and things like that with my father and just by myself, and we both liked to watch fights. They just didn't let me participate in it. So I knew what kickboxing was. And when I saw Muay Thai, it was like a whole completely different sport to me, because the fighters didn't move the same way. They weren't, like bouncy and jumpy all over the place like they are in boxing. It was just a whole different style. They looked so calm and confident in what they were doing. And right away I knew that that's what I wanted to do. So I was driving around once around town, and it was maybe like it's like 15-20 minutes away from my house, and I see a big banner, and it showed like a Muay Thai fighter, and I saw Muay Thai, and I was like, wow, that's the stuff that I saw the other, whenever I saw it on TV. And I went inside that place and I asked if I can join, and they said, "Oh man, these guys just moved out about a month ago." And so I went online, and that's when we first started having internet. I went online and I searched their name, and I found them, which is North Jersey Muay Thai, and I've been with them ever since I was 18 years old.
And you've had a very, very good career. You've been doing it a while. So do you remember who it was on that first Thai boxing event, or was there a fighter that captivated you early on that was like, man, this guy's amazing?
Man, I've been trying to figure that out for the longest time. I've been trying to do research, because I really do think it was a Thai, because I remember the size of his calves. They were humongous. His legs were like tree trunks, It was the first time I've ever seen anything like that. And the guy just looked so calm and cool within within all the chaos and the pressure that he has to deal with.
Was it like the typical with like the music and stuff in the background and all that too?
That I don't remember, but I do remember the announcers, or not the announcers, but the guys that were talking about the fight. They were talking about the Prajiet, the Monkon, and I was writing all that stuff down. I was like obsessed automatically. Immediately, I became obsessed with the sport. And then once I learned and went to the actual gym, then I was like, oh man, this is all the stuff that they were talking about.
That's awesome. I love that story. That's so fantastic. So outside of Thai boxing, what do you like to do? What hobbies you got?
Well, I'm a graphic designer. I went to school for that, college, and I did a career in that as well before I put all my focus into fighting. So I do graphic design and specifically focus on logo design and branding. And then outside of that, I mean, I don't do much. I like to just enjoy my time by myself when I am alone, especially in a country where you don't have many people. So that's what I like to do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, like I mentioned earlier, you've been around for a while. I first saw you when you fought Sturgis Mikos in one FC or one championship. Yeah. So I was like, man, because I had interviewed Sturgis before that fight, and then I went back and watched your fight, and I was like, oh, this guy's gonna win. you know?
It wasn't a performance that I wanted to have against him, but it's okay.
Yeah, you got the win. That's all that matters. So, looking back at your career, though, what would you say is your favorite moment? Was it capturing the world title for the first time? What was it, you think?
It didn't have anything to do with the titles. The only time I was happy about a title was the WBC amateur title for America, and the only reason why I was happy about that is because my coaches were extremely happy. That was one of their goals, and I was happy that I can help them, get to that goal. But for me, the titles, of course, yes, I was happy about that too,
Right.
But for me, it's all about it's all about the difficulty that I have to go through. So I did have two fights where they were title fights, and they were extremely difficult to get through because of the situations that I was dealing with. And then there was another fight here that I had in Thailand where I had injuries and things like that. So it's always something to do with overcoming difficulties. And specifically talking about, being injured or being sick, not feeling 100%. Now you have to go in there and not only come out the victor, but you have to literally protect your life because, you never know what can happen in there.
Right. So to pivot a little bit here, the IOC recently recognized the Muay Thai Federation as an Olympic protected sport. That doesn't mean that they'll be in the games, but it sets a path for that. Do you think that Muay Thai has a spot in the Olympics, and if so, how good do you think that would be for the sport?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, why not? Boxing is there, so I don't see why Muay Thai can't be in there as well. And yeah, I think it would be good for the sport as well. But I mean, I don't think it's gonna make Muay Thai mainstream. Actually, I don't think that at all. I think it's gonna stay exactly where it's at. That's just the nature of our sport, I guess.
Yeah, you've got more of an upper niche sport. It's not going to be like boxing or MMA. There's going to be the guys who enjoy striking, and Muay Thai will always be there. The infrastructure that Thailand has for their sport, it's just, it's going to be there. It's not going to, not going to put on mega events and have superstars in the West like, Conor McGregor or whoever you want to put your name on it, but it's still going to produce some great fighters. A lot of people have concerns with it because, like with judo, it took out the leg game of judo to make it more exciting and stuff. I don't buy that with Muay Thai as much. You'll be padded up like boxing is and all that, but I don't think it would be killing the sport, I guess you would say, with a different rule set.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you have any fights lined up?
Nothing right now, man. We've been locked down here, going into our third month, so it's been extremely difficult to deal with. Because I'm 35 years old, and I have so much more experience, and I feel great mentally. I feel good physically, outside of the injuries that I've been dealing with for for a while already. But I feel like I'm knocking at the door of becoming something more, being like a Lumpini champion. But that door is a steel door, and that steel door represents the situation that we're in now in the world, and I can't break through that door. And unfortunately, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm just hoping that things are gonna go back to the way they were by next year. I'm hoping, and then I can continue on striving for my goals.
Is Lumpini the best stadium in the world to fight in?
For me, yeah, it's one of the best. I mean, there's a couple of different titles that
Yeah.
that are the best. There's Rajtaman Lumpini. There's also the champion of Thailand title. So there's quite a few out there.
Would you like to fight in the United States again?
Yeah. I actually, if when I go back to the States now, I'll be going back in January, I believe, and I'll probably stay there about 2 months. Probably not longer than 2.5 months, depending on the situation here. If the situation improves and I can go back, then 2 months is the max that I'll stay, and then I'll come back. So within those 2 months, yeah, I would like to fight, and I would like to fight for one of the WBC titles, international champ or world champion.
I love it. I love it. Ognjen,
Yeah.
thank you for coming on the show, man. Where can everybody find you on social media?
They can find me at Topic Fight, Topic, and then fight. And then that's my website as well, topicfight.com. And then they can check out my graphic design stuff, Topic Creative, and topiccreative.com.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. You have a good one.
Got it, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video and these talks I had. Hope you enjoyed my guest and all of my topics on the show. If you enjoyed this and you want to support the podcast, you can always check me out on Patreon. Patreon is a crowdsourced funding where you pay $5 a month, for my example, $5 a month, and you get exclusive content every Monday. Every Monday, content just for you, including the career watch through of Khabib Nurmagomedov, if that might interest you. Other things I have in the pipeline after the Khabib will be the ruthless reign of Robbie Lawler, Mike Tyson's revenge, and much more. It's great. I hope you all enjoy this, and yeah, check me out on Patreon. It's fun, and I think you guys would like it. Patreon.com/Fight Library. You could find me on there, Fight Library everywhere. So guys, thank you again, and have a good one.